Hello, everybody. How is everybody doing today? You are tuned in to DA's Web Show. Today, we are going to discuss art. Very controversial topic. It's a very interesting subject, and we're going to cover the following things: what art is, how to define it, and how doing art in different ways can relate different messages. To start off, the definition of art, according to dictionary.com, the quality, production, or expression according to a sense of beauty. But what this definition brings into question is, what is quality production? What is quality expression? And what is beauty? If you guys have heard the phrase, beauty is an eye of the beholder, that's why it brings into question. And how do you define those things? What these things also bring into assumption or belief is that art, in fact, cannot be defined by anyone but the artist and the viewer. Due to the fact that art can take so many different forms, styles, meanings, and portrayals, there is no direct definition of art. These beliefs bring about more questions, such as what really is art, what makes it art, and so on. Art, in fact, is just a label. A prime example would be, say a photographer takes two identical photographs. One is intended strictly for documentation of one place, and the other is strictly intended for art. This shows that the label of the work doesn't necessarily doesn't change anything about the photos, but in reality it changes people's reaction to that. So it's if you have the same photo when someone's like, oh, this one's just a thing that's in a brochure for tourists, and then you have another one that's the same photograph, and then the artist, the photographer is like, oh, this is artwork, and this is intended to be art. Then, with that said, it's going to be defined as art. Now to go into more detail about how you displaying artwork differently can lead to different perceptions and how people react to it. An example of this would be, I have an art blog. My art blog is pretty legit, according to myself and other people. My art blog is actually www.deeaa88art.tumblr.com. Again, that is www.deeaa88art.tumblr without an E, no E in there, .com. um, I do different types of artwork. I go between painting, sketching, drawing, photography, graffiti, different things. I like to expand my horizons when I do artwork. I found it very intriguing. Um, I have photographs that I have taken on my blog. They're photographs of me and my girlfriend. Some of them include me and her faces, and some of them don't. And I'm gonna explain to you how I took different photos like that as a on purpose to get different reactions out of people. So there's a photo with me and my girlfriend. We're kissing, and it shows us pretty much. This photograph is more personal, so pretty much it's, you could see the photo online and be like, oh, it's a cute couple, blah, and that's that. But for us it's more personal, and it's not as relatable to people who are looking at it. You know what I'm saying? But the other photos that lack the identity of us, because it cuts off at the shoulder up. So when I took the photo, I took it. It could be us holding hands or us, having lunch, or at a cafe, and we're cut off from here up. You see my hand, and you see her sitting there with our cups. Um, these are more relatable because the fact that they do lack identity. So the fact that they lack identity shows that the pictures, you can see in the pictures that it shows compassion, love, and affection. Without the identity in the photos, it seems less personal. So it's not just, oh, okay, look at that cute couple. In a viewer's eyes, it could be like, oh, okay, look at these two people, and they can see themselves as these two people. So they feel like they it's closer to them. They can grasp the concept. Um, this is why I do different types of artwork, and this is an example of how different artworks can vary and change people's perception of art. And today we also have a viewer. This is my girlfriend right here.
Hi.
I had a couple questions I wanted to ask her. We haven't actually really discussed the question I'm about to ask her, so this is just like we're going in winging it right now. So it's not any pre-perception on her answers or none of that. So, what's your definition of art, babe?
My definition of art is anything that you make it pretty much. Can be a picture, a photo of someone, a drawing that you painted, graffiti on the wall, collage of different items. Art is what you make it and what you think is beautiful. That's my definition of art.
That's more of I guess it's a good definition. You know, everybody has a different definitions, and hers is more direct into certain groups of art. Now, what would you do personally if you? What do you think personally makes something art? So, like, say you're walking down the street and you see something that's like you never seen before, and you're just like, oh, look at that object. How do you define that object as art, compared to not being art?
Well, when I look at an object, I think the structure or shape of it can make it art. Maybe like the different colors that's displayed, or the different colors that are displayed can tell a lot about an object. Even like the movement of it, if the object moves, I don't know, it can be some type of art. And also the texture. I think the texture of the object is also important. It can make art, whether it's smooth or soft or rough or hard.
Okay. So the variations in the object and how it's portrayed defines it as art in your eyes.
Yeah.
Okay. Now I'm big on art, so I went to the Art Museum of Chicago. I'm from Chicago, and they have these paperweights. You're thinking like, oh, paperweights. Why are they at the art museum? Same thing I thought. You know what I'm saying? When I saw it in the brochure, I was like, I've been there as a child, but it's like, as a child, you're not like, oh, well, paperweights. Why are they in the art museum? So I went up there and I was like, okay, you know what? I'm gonna go look into this and see why is it in the art museum if it's just paperweights. So the variations between the colors in the paperweights, I can see why someone defined it as art, because the way that the glass of the paperweight was made, it had designs. Say it was like a flower, it had different designs in it, but it was like, excuse me, it looked like an image which like captured inside the glass, but in reality it was all like glass made. But what it comes down to is that the person who actually made the paperweights didn't intend it to be a paperweight. He intended to be a paperweight. He didn't intend it to be art. But one of his like close friends was like, "Oh my gosh, this is so beautiful. You should like keep doing these and put them in art museums across the world. You can get paid for this." And that's how I turned it to being an art thing. Like, it wasn't intentional at all. And that's what's so beautiful about art, is that you can do something and it can be unintentional, or it could be an accident, and be like, you know what, I just invented a new type of art. And the types of art that are out there, so many different variations of it. It's pop art, graffiti. People like think that, oh, graffiti's not art. It's like vandalism. But in reality, it's people expressing their artwork on the streets. So what's like people getting in trouble for that? That's like ridiculous, because you have the right to express yourself. So how you do that, as long as it's not harming anybody else, should be fine. But just to add to like different like types of art, like are you into any types of art?
I think my favorite is probably graffiti.
Well, now, why do you like graffiti? Why do you think that graffiti is art actually? So we can go on that.
Um, I don't know. Well, I mean, I personally just like it because I mean, anytime I see graffiti, it's just always just different colors,
Hmm.
and I like stuff to have different, I don't know, colors
Like to
in
have
it.
vibrant colors.
Vibrant colors.
Okay.
I'm a vibrant person. So, that's personally why I like graffiti, and I feel like graffiti just always sends some kind of message,
Hmm.
and that's why I like it.
Okay. Now, politicians, police officers like to argue that it's not actually artwork; that it's like obstruction of property or
Hmm.
vandalism. Do you feel like that's the case?
Not at all. I mean, I feel like you
A
have
little
the
closer.
the freedom to express how you feel. I mean, I've seen some graffiti that was, not appropriate, but not all graffiti is meant to vandalize property. Some
And you got
people
the douchebags in the world.
I mean, some people graffiti to send a message, send a positive message out, like every time I go to the city, like I'll see graffiti and it'll have positive messages. Um which I mean, I think personally is good. I don't see it as vandalism.
Yeah, it varies between artists. You have people who are gonna vandalize property
Hmm.
because that's just what they want to do. But even like an artist that I'm into, his name is Mickey Mouse. Mouse without an O, is with an A. You guys should check into him. He's actually a good artist. Um, but he goes around, he does graffiti, but his graffiti, he's a 1980s graffiti artist, and he used to go around making like graffiti posts about Reagan and crack cocaine, AIDS, and I remember he got caught one time, and the message he was writing down on it was on a police car, which is like really, you know, it's not like it's dope, but it's like really it's deep because what he wrote was, "Are you really policing?" And he was referring to the corruption in the police department in New York City at the time, which is a lot of speculations around that. So I think that the deep messages that are behind it, and that's what makes art. Like that you can be like, oh, it's just like three different color lines. It's a yellow line, a green line, and a blue line. But in reality, the artist could be like, you know what, these colors represent vibrant personalities or vibrant expressions or emotions,
Hmm.
and the blue and the green and a yellow means this, and this. And then someone's like, oh well, that's just lines, so that's not art. And then you have someone that actually feels it, and they're like, oh my gosh, you know what, that's really deep, and I can actually dig it. So that's what I think, that why art is so special, because the variations, the speculations behind it, and what makes art and what doesn't make art. So you've tuned into DA's webisode. Hope you've enjoyed my explanation of art. Hope to see you guys here next week for my next video. It's been real. Andrea signing out. They can't see your
Bye.
hand. You have to put your hand. Here we go. Bye.